Welcome to Girl Vacuum, the fun, feisty, fancy, fanny-free podcast.
Do you need some more F words? Both called Emily, and yeah, we're getting together to make a podcast because we've got a lot of things to say. My name is Emily Valentine. I'm 29 years old, and I am a full-time blogger, YouTuber, and influencer.
My name's Emily Hodgkin. I'm 26. I am a journalist. I work at the Express newspaper online doing lifestyle journalism, and in my spare time I'm doing this now.
Yeah. It's the only
It's
thing.
my first
only
hobby.
thing you do in your spare time.
It's my first ever hobby, and I'm really excited.
We met at university.
Yeah.
We were both studying journalism there. And we actually had this idea last year actually, didn't we?
When was it? Was years ago.
Yeah.
At least a year ago.
And finally it's come to fruition. So yeah, we've got loads of the topics that we want to cover in this podcast.
Yeah, topical, fun. I mean, there's a lot of serious stuff going
Fanny.
on in the world. Fanny, fun, fanny, feisty fannies.
We just
Glamorous growlers.
We just lost 20 listeners.
That's alright. It's pretty neat.
If you're still with us, we love you already. Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about is sex robots.
Sex robots.
I mean, where do you even begin with that?
I don't know. I feel like C-3PO actually had a little bit of sex appeal about him. You know
Who?
C-3PO from Star Wars.
Oh man, I don't know Star
He
Wars
was like
at
this
all.
kind of like really camp, kind
Was
of
he a
like
robot,
fey, sarcastic robot. Yeah.
Oh, okay, did he have love affairs?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll
it was
shelve
never, and there might be some fan fiction.
Sex robots both freaks me out and fascinates me at the same time. Like, we were talking the other day about this, and we said, you know, sex robots, would you be comfortable trying one out yourself? Would you be comfortable with your partner trying one out yourself? Themselves?
The thing is, I definitely would want to try one because
Same.
I'm that sort of person where I'm going to give it a go. But then I see it a bit like, it's like an extension of a sex toy.
Exactly.
And
That
I'd
is
probably
my-
try most sex toys.
Yeah, that is exactly how I feel. It's more like the AI, the humanity of the robot that really freaks me out. I'd probably just have to mute it the whole time.
Yeah, like,
if it stared me in the eyes with its robotic eyes and like it tried to have a connection with my soul
Or like-
while
oh my
shagging me, I'd probably turn it off at the mains.
or like if it compliments, like what is it supposed to, I guess you'd have to have settings as to like how it interacts with you on an emotional level.
The sex robot industry is going to be worth about 300 billion in 15 years, they say, and it's already like getting a lot of ground. The dolls are about £7,000 now, and the reason they're so expensive is because they have this artificial intelligence where they can really connect with their users, and they learn what you like, they learn your name, they know to ask about your day, and if you're feeling frisky, then they say all the right things to get you off. So it's like, that's the AI part. We're like going out of sex toyville into like something next
Could
to
it like seduce you when you don't want it? Like, did you ever have a Furby?
Yes, I did.
You'd put them in the wardrobe because you didn't want them anymore, and then they'd like all of a sudden, like a few months later, like wake up and start talking to you. Would the robot like just wake up and try and seduce you?
You'd hope it was a little bit more advanced for £7,000 than a Furby. But also, it's like, okay, you're fed up of your sex doll, you put it in the cupboard. Is that not like putting a human in a cupboard and keeping them captive? Because these humanoid robot beings, they are so real and lifelike, and they develop feelings and they have algorithms, so they learn behaviors, you know.
Yeah.
What is the role of a sex robot in our future? Is it a good thing? You know, there's talk of them replacing boyfriends or girlfriends. People can marry them. Also, the fact that, you know, it can end prostitution maybe by having sex brothels. I believe they already do this in Germany and Spain, I think, France.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it a good thing?
I am quite torn about it because on the one hand, I think for people who, something about it really freaks me out, because I think ultimately we should have human connections with one another. That's the best thing for everyone to actually have a partner that they have a real relationship with. But if you aren't able to have that, then I suppose to make that individual happy,
But
if
why
they
aren't-
have this robot,
Why
that's
can't you
good.
have that human connection? Maybe it's just that there's someone out there that wants something that maybe isn't out there for them.
You mean they want something extra?
Maybe, I mean, you know, this is veering off into the dark side, but maybe, you know, there's men out there, and most of these customers of these sex dolls are men. They want to be rough or abusive towards their partners. You know, they want to do things that are a bit untoward and maybe not so the mainstream. Like, I'm a firm believer if it's consensual on both sides, it's fine in the bedroom. But, you know, what's to say these people aren't doing really evil, nasty things because they can't obviously do them to people in real life? Like, is that a good thing because they're letting out their frustrations, or is it just encouraging the behaviour?
I think it encourages the behaviour. I think instead of people who want to do these untoward things, probably the community needs to embrace them and that, instead of just like being like, okay, here's a sex doll, go live out your fantasy, we don't want anything to do with it. If that's a lot of people's sexual predications, then I think that's something that should be more openly talked about, instead of just allowing them to have this robot that they act out the bad things on.
Maybe they can't find the person to act out these fantasies with.
I mean, it depends, because I don't think anything's truly abusive if somebody is consenting to it. But if you're struggling to find anyone to consent to what you want to do, maybe, yeah, it's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, I just really want to run you over with a car and then shag you senseless.
Yeah.
Nobody? Nobody.
And then we think, I mean, I don't want to be kink shaming anyone or judging anyone, but you have to have a line as to what is normal sexuality, and should we allow normal sexuality to involve violence to that extent? I don't know. I mean, it's tricky. I would say no. I'd say there's a line there.
Yeah. So what about, you know, we both said that we would happily go out and try these sex robots.
Yes.
You know, we go out, we can pick the penis size, the girth,
what specifications?
the thrust.
What specifications would you have?
My sex robot Tinder profile would read as, you know, 6'3", green eyes, curly. I'm just describing my boyfriend.
Don't do that.
I'm just trying to.
I was thinking, like, I mean, I guess if I got
would
one,
you get one like your boyfriend?
That looks like my boyfriend.
Or would you just go out on a limb and get something completely different, and then obviously
I think it would be
someone's
hilarious
gonna be
to
pissed off.
prank my boyfriend with a sex toy that
looks
looks exactly like him.
I suppose if your partner was never up for a threesome and then you came home with a sex toy robot that looked just like him, then he can't like come up against you shagging him robot form.
Yeah, exactly. I think you'd be flattered on the one hand, but then on the other hand just be weirded out.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, I don't know what my specification would be, but on the flip side, if my partner wanted to have sex with a sex robot, it probably wouldn't sit right with me, just because I'd be so worried that the emotional connection would kick in, and therefore it becomes like cheating almost. It's no longer a sex toy, it's not like a fleshlight, it's an extension of a fleshlight with AI intelligence.
I mean, I feel a little bit odd about a fleshlight as well.
Yeah, it's very odd.
But I feel like I would allow my boyfriend to do it. I'm so bitchy, like, allow. Like, he can do what he wants. I don't tell him what to do. I'm not that kind of girlfriend. I'm a cool girlfriend.
Yeah, whatever. He's on a lead tied up outside everyone.
But I feel like I'd want to watch to make sure things didn't go too
that's
far.
it. And
but also out of curiosity, but then I think I'd be watching like, oh. No.
Is it not strange that, I know this is a generalisation obviously, but most men would probably not want their female partners to have sex with a sex robot because they'd see the act of physically being fucked by a robot as cheating, whereas we're more concerned about the emotional connection that might go on between this intelligent